22 Creedmoor has become an incredibly popular varminting and small game hunting cartridge. Here on the channel, we've done a couple really comprehensive end-to-end rifle builds using Stiller actions chambered in 22 Creedmoor. The Stiller Predator was a more heavy, more bench-oriented rifle, and then we did the Wombat, which is a skeletonized lightweight action. We did a lightweight varminter based on the Wombat. Both really awesome rifles, both really shot amazing. Well, it turns out Stiller's sister company, Horizon Firearms, is really the creator of the 22 Creedmoor cartridge, and they worked with Hornady to get it SAMI certified. So in this video, we're gonna take a look at the Vandal Dark II chambered in 22 Creedmoor from Horizon Firearms. This is a video you're gonna wanna check out. Hey guys, Gavin Gear here from ultimatereloader.com. It's true, we are huge fans of the 22 Creedmoor. It takes 22 caliber to the absolute max, to the edge of twist rate, bullet weight, performance. It's an absolutely amazing slayer of animals, and I have some problems here at the Ultimate Reloader Ranch. We've got an out of control rodent population. Hopefully this Vandal Dark II is gonna take care of business. Let me get this rifle out of the box and I'll talk more about what we're gonna do with it. So here it is. This is the Vandal Dark II. This is an absolutely amazing rifle. It's got a benchmark, spiral fluted barrel. It comes with a brake. We've got a rail that's included. This is a Stiller action. Again, we built multiple rifles on Stiller actions. It's got a really nice DBM setup for the AICS magazine. It's got a carbon stock with this great texture, and it's built by the company that created the 22 Creedmoor cartridge. So I'm going to get into more of the specs and sort of more of the detailed features and info about the rifle, but let's first discuss what the plan is for this video. I'm going to get a scope put on the rifle, and we're going to look at any other kind of accessories that are going to be needed and get it set up. I'm going to go through my ammo library and look at what 22 Creedmoor ammo we're going to want to use, shoot some groups, but what I'm really looking forward to is looking at possibly taming the squirrel population here at Ultimate Reloader. They are completely out of control. 5 years ago, there were hardly any. They are overrunning the entire area. You see dead squirrels in the road. We've got them getting into our buildings, into our vehicles. This is a problem, and I think 22 Creedmoor could provide some really effective and really entertaining solutions to that problem. So I'm gonna go get this rifle set up, and we'll do some shooting with it. Hopefully take care of those squirrels. So the scope that I selected for the Vandal Dark II is the Cronus BTR from Athlon. This is the 4.5 to 29 by 56. This is a very good Japanese made scope. I had some Athlon rings, so I put it all together. I'm also using a Lone Star bubble level. It's always a good idea to have a bubble level when you're transitioning to longer range shooting. So with the scope installed, it was time to go up to the mid-mountain range and get things on paper. So for the sight-in, I did my standard bore sight on the bench rest, which is to get the bag rider installed, get the rear bag and the front bench rest all set up, take the bolt out, look through the bore, and just very carefully center it up on the target. And once that's centered up, I look through the scope and then dial it so that the scope is at the center of the target that I'm looking at through the bore. Now, this time I sighted in 3 rifles that day, and all 3 of them were within 2 inches of the center dot. So that was awesome. Got on paper, ran a couple SKUs of Hornady ammo, 80 grain ELDX and 80 grain ELDM. This mirrors exactly what I found with my Stiller Predator 22 Creedmoor build that also had a 1 in 8 twist barrel, which is what SAMI specifies. Depending on your atmospherics and your elevation and all of the factors, this is right on the edge. And I looked at the Hornady website, they recommend 1 in 7 twist. So it wasn't surprising that my groups with that ammo were not optimal. Now, Sierra 77 grain Match Kings will stabilize with the 1 in 8 twist barrel, no problem. So I whipped up some hand loads. I tried H4350 and Ramshot Hunter. Ramshot Hunter did a little bit better. Let's take a look at some of that shooting. Okay, very interesting. So with Ramshot Hunter, my groups averaged somewhere around a ½ inch, which I thought was awesome. I could definitely spend more time and fine tune that load a little bit, depending on whether I wanted to use the brake, which comes with the rifle, or a suppressor. I shot both. With this rifle, shot kind of about the same with the suppressor and with the brake, and I thought, you know, the Vandal Dark II is cool because with this 18-inch configuration, it's short, it's compact. I decided to keep this rifle short and compact and not run a suppressor. So the factory ammo that I shot at around 3,100 feet per second, and the loads I worked up that went up to 41 grains of Ramshot Hunter were right between 2,900 and 3,000, which is awesome for an 18-inch barrel. So with my initial load settled on, I loaded up 50 rounds, and that means it's time to go shooting. So we had a ton of fun driving around in the side-by-side looking for squirrels. And it did not take us too long to find squirrels. And what was fun about this hunting scenario was the engagement distance varied greatly. We had squirrels pop up and we had about 2 seconds to get the shot off, and they were at 20 yards or 30 or 40 yards. And then I saw a squirrel way down about 100 yards away. So I took a kneeling shot and got that guy. And so threat neutralized in that particular case. But we also had a couple rock chucks pop up. Yeah, it's been kind of interesting this year. Normally they're gone, you know, hibernated by about mid-June, and here we are into July. And I got a couple shots off on rock chucks and was able to neutralize 2 of those guys, plus a third actually. So, you know, at various distances, shooting from different positions, really a great way to kind of put this rifle through its paces and to evaluate, you know, what it would be like. Now, the one thing I didn't do was shoot off of a tripod. And if I was going to shoot off of a tripod, I would probably put a second little Arca rail section back here, right in front of where the bottom metal ends. And that would get us on to sort of the balance point of the rifle. If I'm coyote hunting, typically I shoot off of a tripod because I typically need to get above the sage bushes or the grass respectively. So that would be the only real thing that I've thought of that I would change on this rifle, would just be to add the simple accessory that is another Arca rail section. I love that it comes with Arca and Picatinny, and I'll note, depending on how you have your Arca rail oriented, there is a swivel stud in the back and there's an accessory swivel stud connecting point on the combo rail. So that's nice. If you're going to use a sling, you can use a swivel stud sling with this rifle and not have to do anything special like the QD type of setup. Really, it's just a matter of preference. So the final hunting scenario was kind of like a deer hunting sim. We have a rock chuck target that's at 200 yards, and there's a convenient tree branch that allows us to shoot off the tree. And so I took 5 shots, I had 5 impacts. I felt this rifle just bounce really nicely on the bag that I had put on the tree branch. And that means if we had a deer that we wanted to take within a couple hundred yards or even 300 yards easily, it'd be a great type of shooting position to use for something like that. And the rifle did great. So at the beginning of the video, I told you guys I'd go a little bit deeper into features and specs. So here we are. We've got the Horizon Stiller Action. This is a top quality Remington 700 clone. The Action comes with the 0 MOA rail. Now, why 0 MOA and not 20? Well, this is optimized so that you don't run out of adjustment range on your thermal. So that's one consideration for that. You've got a Picatinny rail. It's ready to go. It's got an external bolt stop. If you want to know more about this lineup of actions, you're going to want to check out my Wombat rifle build that also was 22 Creedmoor, and the Stiller Predator build, which was also a 22 Creedmoor. Different twist rates, different barrel lengths, and I think the triad of rifles, the Wombat build, the Predator build, and this Vandal Dark II really shows you kind of some of the different configurations and pros and cons, trade-offs for different types of builds. So it's got a benchmark 8-flute fluted barrel, 18-inch 1 1/8 twist. This is per the SAMI specifications, and as I mentioned, you're going to want to experiment with different bullet weights at that 1 1/8 twist. There is the trade-off that if you spin faster and you use lighter bullets, you're going to, run up against the integrity limit on the bullet and possibly have the bullet come apart. If you have a slower twist and you want to stabilize the heavier bullets, right, it's not going to potentially stabilize quite as well, which is what I saw here with the Hornady factory ammunition. It's got an IOTA sim brake. This is a really nice looking brake, really easy to time. I took it off to put the suppressor on and then put it back on. This feature here is essentially a jam nut, and I just used, I think, a screwdriver through the ports, and it was really easy to get that torqued down properly and timed properly. We've got an AICS bottom metal, right? A detachable box magazine setup is really what I prefer, especially for a hunting rifle where you might want to have your mag loaded, have your rifle separate so that you can be safe and ready to go, balancing those trade-offs, right? Ammo over here, gun over there, boom, put them together. You got to jump out of the truck sometimes at a moment's notice. And that was certainly the case with the squirrels. They give you about 1 second to respond. We've got a Trigger Tech adjustable trigger, and I'll note that the bottom metal for the trigger guard portion here has a hole for the adjustment screw. Love that. I think every bottom metal or every trigger guard should have that, depending on whether your bottom metal is separate or you have a separate trigger guard. This has got the textured carbon IOTA Eco Stock. Really like the textured surface. It's like really, really, really grippy. And the carbon stock helps to keep the weight down. The total weight is 7 pounds, 5 ounces. So, again, it's compact, it's lightweight. You could use this rifle really for a bunch of different types of varmint hunting scenarios. I think it's a really great compromise on, achieving velocity, keeping things compact, the ability to run suppressed without the rifle getting too long and all that. So that's the features and specs in a nutshell. So in summary, the Vandal Dark II is a great rifle. It's brought to you by Horizon Firearms, the company that invented the 22 Creedmoor cartridge. They worked with Hornady to help get it semi-certified. So they have a lot of expertise in terms of what makes a great 22 Creedmoor rifle. Now that I've built 3, kind of an ultralight, an ultra heavy, and this one kind of sits in the middle of the 2 that I built, I feel like the 22 Creedmoor is just a really great package, and this is a really great balance between all of the different factors: weight, overall length, barrel length, and I could see it working in a variety of different scenarios really well. And it just has a real feel of quality. The stock is a great example of that. The texture and the finish just definitely exudes quality. And if you're looking for a varmint rifle, definitely look at the Vandal Dark II. If you're coyote hunting, if you're prairie dog shooting, if you're shooting squirrels like some of what we did in this video, I'm sure it'll bring you a lot of success and a lot of fun. What I'd like to know is what do you think of the Vandal Dark II? What did you think of what I showed in the video, or do you have one and do you want to share firsthand experiences? Join us in the comments section, drop a comment, and we'll join in on the fun. That concludes this video, and that means it's time to wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching Ultimate Reloader on TV and want to take advantage of free resources, exclusives, and hot deals, just hold your camera phone up to the QR code, tap on the link, fill out the information, boom, you're getting Ultimate Reloader emails. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, where we've got unrestricted content, and Instagram. Make sure to follow us on all those channels. Ultimate Reloader also has a commercial solutions division serving law enforcement, the military, and the gun industry. We have some unique capabilities, including a comprehensive suite of recoil testing and evaluation capabilities, trigger profiling, and more. Thanks again for watching.